Welcome to the Comics Experiment.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Comics Experiment, the show right here at the Comicstorian Podcast Network that airs every Thursday at about what time, Dan?
And roughly 3 p.m. Eastern.
That's right. And then it gets uploaded to where, Dan?
Our Patreon at patreon.com/Comicstorian, and then also YouTube.
Right, YouTube, where a lot of you guys are watching it. And where else can they find it if they only want the audio, Dan?
Spotify, I think.
You don't actually know, do you?
Somewhere on audio form.
All your favorite podcast platforms. It disperses to all of them, Dan.
That's the one.
All
That's
of
the
them.
one. It disperses.
It's on all of them.
I don't know why you asked me then.
And this is the show where I sit with Dan and Andy and we discuss everything from philosophies behind comic books to funny lists that Andy wants to make fun of to me trying to surprise them with something and then the general response being no. It's an experiment if the show's going to be a success every week. Mm-hmm. I've decided that's what the experiment is, Andy. Heck, half the time the experiment is, will we even show up to do the show?
This is true. I only show up because there's food.
That's what I was going to say. Like, where else am I going to get a free lunch?
So, and our sponsor of the day is
G Fuel. Use code COMICS at checkout to save 10% off your order, as well as our Patreons at patreon.com/Comicstorian, as well as our subscribers over at twitch.tv/Comicstorian.
There you go. All the ways you can support the show and keep it going. If you do enjoy it, we do appreciate
and our
your
YouTube
support.
membership members over at youtube.com/Comicstorian.
Seemed angry about that last one.
I was like, there's one more I'm forgetting, and I don't forget about you. All the time.
And if you want to keep the show going, thank you so much for your continued support. We really do appreciate each and every single one of you guys who listen to us just be idiots. Because at the end of the day, that's the experiment.
I'm not an idiot.
Anyway.
That was hurtful.
All right, so today's topic is going to be real simple. Why won't the Snyder Cut go away?
Because it's on the internet. Nothing goes away on the internet.
Do I need to give a little background, or can we just go with that?
I mean, it's fine.
No, okay. So anyway, what happened?
You're going to piss off the Snyder fans, though.
Yeah. So, okay, I enjoyed the Snyderverse, what exists of it. But, so, round up the whole thing, give you a quick rundown of everything. All the way back when Zack Snyder was born in 19...
You don't know what year Zack Snyder was born, you lie. I want to see how far he was going to go.
If he had named a date...
I'm looking at your face like 60.
I don't know when he was born.
Anyway, so it all began back with Zack Snyder with Man of Steel. He was brought on to create the DC version of the MCU, basically. DCEU is what it was dubbed. It was going to contain Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, leading into a Justice League movie, which would lead into a second Justice League movie, which would weirdly enough then lead into the solo movies of Aquaman, Flash, Wonder Woman, and all these other movies. Obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, none of that happened. So what happened is Zack Snyder was having a lot of problems with the studio, and then there was a passing within his family, so they swapped him out during Justice League for Joss Whedon, who completely revamped the movie to make it the Whedon cut. Then the fans went crazy, and they started saying, hey, we want the original version, we want the version that he wanted to bring out, and they just constantly berated WB, DC, and everyone to say, hey, give it to us. It started as more of a trolley movement, which then led to a more significant movement for mental health and mental awareness, and they used a lot of charities and things like that. Suicide prevention. But they went like the whole, it was like the whole thing. So, because every time they came up with like, support the Snyder Cut by donating to suicide prevention, I did it. I got a bunch of the Snyder Cut shirts. You've seen me wear them. So that eventually led to HBO Max coming out, and then we decided, well, not we, we decided.
We sat down. All right, guys, I think we can give it to him now. Yeah. We actually had the Snyder Cut this whole time.
We've had it right here.
We've had it behind the table this whole time.
Yep, we called up Max, and we were like, hey, we got a Snyder Cut. Okay, cool. You can have it. Okay, bye. See, it's HBO Max.
No, I got it. Yeah, it's good.
Max HBO. That's the actual owner.
Yeah. But he's like James Bond. He's like HBO. Max HBO.
What does HBO stand for?
Home box office.
That.
The fact that you knew that so quick is baffling to me.
It's surprising that you don't know what that stands for. To me.
So anyway. Which led to eventually we got the Snyder Cut, which and I stand to this, and everyone likes to give me crap for saying it this way. It's not the original theatrical version, but in my opinion, it's the better version because he got to put everything he wanted in. There's no longer a debate about what Zack Snyder wanted in Justice League. The 4-hour movie will answer that for you.
The 2 movies that he made for his 1 movie cut. That came out.
Right, so we got a great movie, and at the end of it, I'll admit, I was a little sad that a lot of the threads he started and decided to keep in his cut weren't going to go anywhere, like Martian Manhunter, the Return of Superman and how that was going to be handled, the Flash storyline, the Cyborg storyline. None of that was going to get resolved because Snyder Cut. But as we predicted, and I think everyone else who watches movies predicted, the internet did not stop there. The release of the Snyder Cut movement did not then go hashtag thank you WB. This is exactly what we wanted. We will behave now.
Everybody knows the internet's real good about letting stuff go.
This is true.
What this led to is
on the internet.
What this led to, even though Zack Snyder himself has said, guys, it will not happen. Leave it alone. Release the SpiderVerse. They want the continuation.
Restore.
Restore. That's the hashtag. Thank
I
you.
would just say that Snyder saying it's not going to happen is the same way as Chris Evans going, I'm not going to be Captain America anymore. Okay? I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. He's going to do it.
You don't know that. I bet you Tony's not really dead.
He's going to be a blue Smurf soon. It's gonna be great.
And then they'll forget that he's a blue Smurf.
That's what I call him, as the blue hologram. Blue Smurf
right,
Tony.
yeah, okay.
Who got alcoholism.
I thought Robert Downey Jr. was going to be in the new Smurf movie. Like, I'll watch that. I don't even know. I'm not a Smurf. Like, not a Smurf
Did you read the
fan.
comic where they decide?
There was a Smurf movie.
Yeah, there's been a few.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant there's actually a new one coming out.
Well, I mean, there was one that came out a few years ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always found that you could always tell that he wasn't supposed to be dead during that Secret Empire or whatever series it was that he was dead. Whichever one he was dead in, because they wanted to use his alcoholism as like a plot point. So the AI got alcoholism.
Yeah. Everybody knows my computer gets drunk all the time.
That explains why it doesn't turn on half the time.
A little bit for me, a little bit for the computer.
So anyway, we're now at a point where it's restored the Snyder Cut. Now there's been a leak from WB, which is why we, like many other podcast hosts, are not letting Snyder Cut go.
No.
Apparently, and this is going to lead to our continued discussion. Everyone do
Apparently.
Apparently.
Super Italian for a minute there.
We're not even Italian. I don't know where this is coming from. I mean, we're going to talk about other series that got canceled early, but apparently WB has a gag order on the Snyder Cut verse Justice League. So
Snyder Cut verse Justice League. Nobody talk about any of this.
Max.
Everything right now has been like, oh, Disney Plus, this is how many viewers. I think it was 40 million watched Falcon Winter Soldier. You know, and then HBO is like, here's how much money Godzilla versus Kong made. And here's how many viewers. I've yet to see, and apparently I've yet to see how well Justice League did. And apparently that's intentional because they don't want to talk about it anymore. They want to let it die.
Honestly, I wouldn't want to talk about it. If I was WB, I wouldn't want to talk about it either.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they thought releasing the Snyder Cut was going to get people to stop talking about it.
So apparently they have told everyone in the offices we will not discuss it. We will not talk how well or failure. We will. It came out.
No
it's
official
done.
Statements.
One way or the other, we're
right.
done. We're not touching on the restored Snyderverse. We're not touching on everything. And an insider, so take this for a grain of salt, but it's kind of believable with the way a lot of movie theaters were claiming during COVID, says that WB is not cash positive right now.
Right, which makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of companies got hit movie companies got hit real hard during COVID because they couldn't make movies, so they were just bleeding money. WB's
they could make the movie, they couldn't release the movie.
Exactly.
Because there was nowhere to release it.
So WB is not cash positive right now. As a matter of fact, apparently they've accrued a massive debt, which is why we also hear the rumors that AT&T's potentially wanting to dump WB Studios somewhere else. Because AT&T went ahead.
Sell it to Disney.
Oh God!
Now Disney owns the DCEU. I'm saying.
Apparently AT&T went in and bought all of this stuff right before COVID hit,
Right,
obviously, which is why we've heard rumors from them wanting to sell WB Studios, them wanting to sell DC, them wanting to sell WB Games.
I'm telling you, Disney buys everything.
Oh yeah,
It's just Disney now. There's no other corporation.
You know,
the United States of Disney.
I have a feeling the only reason Disney, like, it hasn't even been discussed, like that Disney's going to buy any of these WB properties, is because it's gotta be some kind of law because they own Fox.
Oh, yeah.
There's a law.
monopoly.
Yeah, there's an. I don't know if what it's
That
called.
they can't
I think it's
own
called
everything.
Monopoly law.
Something
Yeah, they
like
can't.
that.
They can't
Yeah.
own. It's a board game about it, but they can't own everything.
Right.
Yeah.
That board game didn't teach me anything about law. Is all I'm saying.
So I got a feeling that's why. So
It
like,
said the bank gave me money.
but then it comes down to like, because if AT&T's trying to sell all these properties because they're that poor on cash right now, who's going to buy WB? I mean, it's pretty much what Sony, WB, and Disney are the big ones.
Yeah, more
I mean,
or
there's like
less.
Paramount.
Yeah,
I think they're owned by Sony, by Disney or somebody.
I think so.
Like everyone, Miramax falls into another one of those companies.
Yeah.
Like they're all just splintered off versions. So I think AT&T's kind of stuck. Like no one can buy your company because no one's got the money to pony up for WB Studios.
We're gonna start a GoFundMe. We're gonna be buying the WB. Please help us out.
I remember there was
Sweet.
there was a rumor going around that some fans were trying to do a GoFundMe to get the money to buy DC Comics from AT&T. The only reason I heard wind of this rumor is they were hitting up all the comic book YouTubers like, all right, so if you help donate to this cause, who do you want to write? Yeah, I'm sure that's how this is going to work. Guys, I got $100. Give me Red Hood.
I don't know.
Andy, who you want? I'll put another 100 in.
I'm gonna do 125. I want to write Red Hood.
I'll give you 5 for Arsenal.
and
Booster Gold.
and 250 your change.
Thank you.
Anyway, back to the topic on hand. So apparently the big reason is that WB doesn't even want to talk about it is they want this to die.
Sure.
They want the Snyderverse franchise to completely die out. They have no money. And the insider says they can't afford to move on with Zack Snyder's vision. So what do you guys think of this?
Like
The WB
ever?
Like ever. Like that's why they want it dead. They just can't afford it.
Yeah.
And by the time they probably could, they're just not interested anymore.
Sure.
So what do you think?
I think if they wanted it to die, they shouldn't have let Zack Snyder put so many loose ends in it that make people go, oh, I want to see where that goes. I think that's probably going to be the biggest reason that I don't see it dying at least anytime soon, because people are going to go, wait, but what about Darkseid? When is he actually going to show up and we get the Earth 2? Because that's where we go. Or Martian Manhunter, or like he put so many things in there that viewers look at it and they grab it and they go, I want to see that. Restore the Snyderverse. I want to see that. Restore the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the fact that they are outright saying we are not going to continue it and we want it to die, they do not understand how the internet works and how people do things just because someone says not to. If they truly wanted it to die,
Well, they haven't
would have
outright
just
said it. That's the
nothing.
point of the gag order. They're saying nothing.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
But, like releasing that there is a gag order.
No,
Oh,
that's
that
the
was
leak.
the leak. That was the
That's
leak.
the
Sorry,
leak.
yeah.
That there is a gag
Like,
order.
either
By the
way-
way, we got a gag order. We don't want to talk about this anymore.
The way that in my head it was kind of like was like Diamond Comics when they came out. They were like, we can't pay you all the way back, and it's like you didn't need to tell us.
Yeah.
That's a behind closed
So you
doors
have a-
kind of thing.
You have a quote about the Snyderverse? Oh, I'm actually not allowed to talk about that. We have a gag order.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I shouldn't have said that.
God.
The diamond thing's funny.
But,
That'd be like me going on this podcast and being like, by the way, guys, we're going to need more Patreon donations because I can't pay them. And if they don't donate to us, you guys just aren't getting your checks. You're cool working until we figure this out, right? Like,
But no,
And walk away.
either way, I don't see it dying anytime soon.
No.
I think too many people latched on to the release, the Snyder Cut, that they honestly did not care about the Snyder Cut. They just wanted to be a part of the movement.
oh, yeah.
Just a part of something.
Exactly.
And that feels good.
Exactly.
There's more to talk on the dark side thing because there's another leaked rumor that is now going to tie into this. That one's less leaked. But, Andy, what do you think about this whole...
Less leaked.
Well, okay, I'll
like a small leak.
Oh, it's just
So they canceled the Dark Side New Gods movie, Tom King, and I forget the writer's name because I've never heard of her until this was a part of it. So apologies to that person. But
Tom King was writing a movie?
Yeah.
Tom King was writing a New Gods
God.
movie that was being directed and written by an actual screenwriter.
I see.
And it was going to feature Darkseid. Apparently, that movie was canceled because Zack Snyder used Darkseid in the other movie, and they didn't want people to associate the two of them, which this gag order makes more sense about now, because if they don't want anyone to associate the Snyderverse...
Well, in that case, you're going to have to stop making movies with Ezra Miller and never make a Batman movie again.
Gotta get rid of Gal Gadot.
Yeah, Gal
No
Gadot's
one
got to
wants
go.
to- no one
Momoa's
I'd say get rid
gonna
of
have
Henry
to go.
Cavill, but I feel like they've already done that. And
He doesn't even know about it yet. He's just sitting at home going, can't wait to play Superman again. Wait, what?
In the
what the
meantime-
hell?
In the meantime, I got my
he's got.
WoW
I got 7 seasons of Witcher done. When are we getting back to Man of
True,
Steel?
yeah. I'm cool with him doing The Witcher, honestly.
Yeah.
You can do 7 seasons of Witcher.
Let's do The Man from U.N.C.L.E. again, part 2 or something.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. I want him in the new Jaws movie. He just plays the shark. No CGI.
I want Henry Cavill versus The Rock in something.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw.
It's completely off topic.
Could you imagine Hobbs and
We
Shaw
can have
2?
a whole show about me just talking about Henry Cavill. I don't give a shit.
Hobbs and Shaw 2. Henry Cavill is the other secret agent that they don't like but need to work together with. So we get to fight at the beginning.
First of all, who wouldn't like Henry Cavill?
The Rock.
The guy's very charming.
I mean, it's true.
Shaw. Shaw could start the
I
problem.
could see that.
Anyway, and we'll do it like Fast and the Furious rules, where everyone could just be everyone's family. So Henry Cavill is The Rock's brother.
Oh, I see. I would have gone with Shaw's like cousin
That makes more sense.
because they're both British.
It makes more sense. But
actually
right
Shaw's
now,
neighbor.
right now, we're supposed to
Just
believe
his
that Vin
neighbor.
Diesel and John Cena are brothers. That's why.
Yeah, that 100% works.
Who does
You put a spray tan on John Cena, please. It's practically Vin Diesel with hair.
So anyway, back to the topic at hand, Andy. How do you feel about this gag order and how it is apparently affecting future movies potentially?
Honestly,
And do you think it's going to go away?
I don't really have one feeling one way or the other. Like, if they restored the Snyderverse, cool. If they don't, okay. Like, I enjoyed the movies for what they were.
Yeah.
But the way the world works is reboots happen. So, I mean, we're already getting a Batman movie that has nothing to do with Ben Affleck. And we were getting that before they even knew the other movies weren't happening. So,
Right.
you know, it's like, I mean, it doesn't really bother me one way or the other. And I, unlike the internet, can let things go and not worry about them. At me, I don't care. You can try.
Fight me, fight me, fight me.
Fight me, fight me. You got to say it 3 times to let everyone know you're serious. So yeah, I mean, honestly, if it kept going, if they did it, I think it'd be cool if they did it in some way, like an animated series, or like one of the DC animated movies.
Yeah.
You could do a series of those. That'd be cool. You could do a comic book. That'd be cool. If they don't make the movies anymore, okay, doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm with it.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the DC characters are going to go away.
Well, that's the thing. We're gonna get more DC movies.
I would love to see where that Snyderverse was going. And somebody please tell me how Jared Leto's Joker made sense eventually.
Sure.
I'd love to see how that was supposed to work. If we don't, it's not like I'm never going to see a Superman movie.
Right.
I'm never going to see Harley
The
Quinn.
only
I'm
downside I would say is I really like Ben Affleck as Batman, which
Batfleck was good.
which originally everyone thought he was going to be terrible. I think he was one of the best Batman.
Yeah.
My favorite is still Michael Keaton. That's just because I saw that movie when I was a kid. And I really like Henry Cavill as Superman.
I liked Val Kilmer, but
Okay. And better than George Clooney.
we can agree on that,
We
sir.
can agree on that one. That's fine. I think all fans can come together for that one. So yeah, so that would be the only downside is maybe them not, because it seems like Gal Gadot is going to keep going. It seems like Jason Momoa is going to keep going. Ezra Miller is doing his Flash movie, so it's like that would be the downside to me. But we're going to get more Batman movies. We're going to get more Superman movies, and whatever.
The universe is going to keep moving.
Yeah.
You know what? So here's a thought. Here's a theory. Because we know that the Snyderverse kind of got fueled because Zack Snyder would every now and then go, hey, here's a screenshot from what my Snyder Cut was. What if this is actually a marketing technique of the leak of a gag order because it might not have made enough money.
So they're trying to
got
spark
leaked,
more interest.
Spark more interest.
That could
make
be
more
people
internet
go,
outrage.
"Ooh, if I watch it and it makes more money because of HBO Max, then maybe they'll release the gag order and we can go there and we can see more of this stuff. And it's all just a part of
It's all
this
like
thing.
it's reverse psychology.
It's a reverse psychology, and then
possible.
later on, when it finally they have the money again, or it got enough views or something like that, they go, "All right, so this is why we had the gag order. Here's everything." Everyone goes, "Oh my gosh, we're super hyped because we're the internet, and you've kept something from us, and you're now finally giving it to us." We've got the Snyderverse back.
Well, it's actually.
I have this image of John W.B. That's who he is, John
Oh, yeah.
W.B. Up in his office.
And Max
they're-
HBO.
They're like,
Yeah.
"Sir, the internet heard about our gag order, and now they're super upset." And he's just like, "Fools! This is what we were playing." And he looks like Lex Luthor.
He's got a-
oddly enough.
He's got Mr. Bigglesworth.
Fool.
See, it's funny because we're in a day and age where people do things for the purpose of outrage to get into the headlines.
yeah.
And we've gotten to a point where we don't know if it's intentional or not because some of it. An example is all the Twitch streamer girls were making the rounds because they were like, "You can't afford $5. You can get a
yeah.
coffee, but you can't give me $5 for sitting here entertaining you." That became a whole thing. You like my
I
impression?
like your Twitch streamer girl voice. That's good.
But there was a whole round, like one girl did that, and she may have been legit, but then there was magically 8 or 9 more girls were doing that. And they were all making the headlines of like, "Oh my God, guys, there's these self-entitled streamer girls." They knew what they were doing. The first girl may have slipped her tongue. The second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh girl were like, "Hey, I'm getting talked about everywhere." Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on that tag train. I'm a part of the hashtag.
yeah.
find
And
a
on top
tag
of that,
train.
we've seen it happen multiple times in video games.
Shut up.
I'll use Apex as an example because I, to this day, think it was intentional. You don't think it was, and that's the problem we're in.
Wait.
It was when they changed their seasonal stuff around. So they
I
made
mean,
it.
I
it was
wasn't
like
playing during that bit.
no. It was
honest,
right
maybe.
when you joined.
know what
Oh,
we're
it was right
talking
when you joined?
about.
So right when
Okay.
Dan joined up on Apex, because he streams it frequently at twitch.tv/Silo91.
Nice, thank you.
But right when he joined up with it, they made a change to their battle pass system.
Oh, that's right. I
Right.
remember now.
And they made it super, super grindy, like double the amount of the previous season, which quickly led to backlash and Apex Legend making all of the headlines. And then they immediately, within a week, were like, "Oh, guys, our bad. We'll fix it all."
Yeah.
But guess who made those headlines for a week? Guess who?
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite did.
I don't think I understand how the internet works.
But guess who got a boom in people checking out the battle pass changes?
and
Call of
jumping
Duty.
in going, "Wait, how hard really is it to level up?
Yeah.
Let me play a couple games."
How many content creators were saying that one? Like,
Oh, yeah.
watch me how easy it is to play for 12 hours a day, guys.
Dan, did you play for 12 hours a day?
No, only 4 to 5, maybe 6 or 7.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday at
Sometimes
twitch.tv/silent91. Anyway, I've seen that happen multiple times at Bungie because I play a lot of Destiny, and I feel like half the things they do where they're like, "Guys, we're making this change. Isn't this terrible?" But they're in the headlines for like a month
The answer is yes, by the way.
until they're like, "We heard the community feedback, and you guys don't want to pay stupid amounts of money for things? We wouldn't have guessed. Changed." Like, and now they look good in the eyes of the consumer, you know, because, oh, they made the changes for me.
They come through as the company that listens to their players because we changed it to what you wanted because we manipulated.
Right, and then if people didn't do a backlash, then they get to overcharge for things. So it's a win-win for the company. We listen to the players, or they're going to pay anyway. So,
Or both.
or both.
We make it 50 cents cheaper.
Exactly. That's how you do it.
So it's an interesting world that we live in where this Snyder Cut thing could be a ploy. How did a gag order about something they don't want to discuss get leaked? Maybe it was intentional. Drum up the hype.
Yeah.
Possible. You're looking at me like you wanted a response. So.
Also, trying to give you guys room to jump in so it's not just Benny talking for an hour on this podcast.
I agree.
There was another thing that just started making its rounds. I'm trying to think of what. So right now, guess what's making the rounds again? Black Superman. DC.
Oh, they've pushed forward. Apparently, they are moving forward with it.
Right,
with an
but-
alternate universe.
No, they've outright said they want it to be Kal-El.
Yes, but it is an alternate universe Kal-El.
Right, but what I'm saying is, so now they're pushing what's
It's not Val-Zod and it's not
Calvin Ellis.
Calvin Ellis.
Yeah.
It is Kal-El, but according to what I read, it's an alternate universe.
That's the answer they're trying to go with. They're like, we're going to do Kal-El, but it's not the Henry Cavill one. It's going to be a different one. Which basically, and if you look on the internet right now, it's making the rounds because everyone, like, there's no one.
Shut up about it.
Well, they won't shut up. They're all saying, make it Calvin Ellis. Make it Val-Zod. Why are we doing Kal-El? That's lazy and boring. Just make it one of the characters that exist.
I remember a really smart guy talking about this.
And that's what they're saying.
Next to two Chuckle Huts.
And a lot of the internet is freaking out, saying, like, you have these characters. Develop them.
Yes.
Because, like I've said before, if they just make black Kal-El, in 5 years, it's going to be white Kal-El again. They'll find an excuse like they did with Wally.
Latino Kal-El. They actually did that
I think they did, yeah.
in one of the animated movies.
But why do I feel like, because they said it's in an alternate universe, but if they keep saying it's Kal-El, guess what's getting talked about a bunch? I wouldn't be surprised if this alternate universe Kal-El suddenly becomes an alternate universe Superman named Val-Zod.
Possibly.
I mean, and maybe not. Maybe they're going to keep with the Kal-El because they want that rage to keep going until release.
Nerd rage.
Because that's what it is. They're feeding off the nerd rage because them saying we're doing black Kal-El has got the internet up in arms like, no, make it one of the characters and make them. And then you have the people being like, what does it matter? Black Superman. You know what I mean? Like, and everyone's arguing about it. So it's become a topic of discussion. And then they leak the gag order, and now guess what? Everyone's talking about DC. Sal made an observation. Every up until the release of Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder would release Justice League stuff.
Yeah.
On top of WandaVision.
Right.
And DC has consistently done this over and over and over. It's actually, it almost became a joke meme because apparently they had a trailer for Justice League by Joss Whedon. So when MCU dropped their celebration of MCU movies, that same day WB released Justice League, Joss Whedon cut 4K. Like, you guys are reaching for trying to get the...
Come on, guys. Remember when everyone liked Joss Whedon back in the early 2000s? It turns out apparently he wasn't that great a person, but come on.
So, I mean, what do you guys think?
Got really awkward and quiet when I said that.
I mean, our chat, some members of our chat here, because we do stream this live on Thursday afternoons, are stating not everything is a conspiracy, and that is true, but that's also boring to talk about.
Or go the opposite direction. Everything is a conspiracy.
I mean,
honestly,
it could be just face value.
Yeah.
It could literally just be Snyder Cut. They want it shut down. They want Black Kal-El, and that's the end of that.
I think conspiracies have become a marketing tactic because I think it's also related to the Spider-Man movie. How whenever it starts to slowly come out, you go, wait, they saw Andrew Garfield there. They saw Tobey Maguire, and you get the more people, and then you get the, well, that dies down, and they say, oh, well, I'm not going to be in it, and everyone starts talking about it again. It's a very common marketing tactic these days to make sure that you're always front and center, is to make people think.
I saw a tweet today related to that Spider-Man thing about the Andrew Garfield, which I can't tell if it's a joke or not because of the way the world... We're in a world where they go, this actor/actress would love to continue working as this character in a movie. And I'm like, that's not news. That'd be like them going, hey, Ben and Andy, you guys want to write a comic? Yes! Yeah. Andy and I are working on some pitches with some of the companies to do a Potter Brothers writing thing, right? And I asked Andy, do you want to write a comic? And he was just like, no, Ben, I don't want to write a comic.
I'm good. Hey, you want to help me come up with a pitch? Nah, I'm fine. I got a lot going on right now. I got to walk the dog.
But that's why I always found those announcements of like, this actress would love to continue their role.
Can I just say right now, I actually hope they don't keep going with the Snyderverse, because that means Henry Cavill can go into the MCU.
You know what? I'm now on board.
No, so there's rumors that he's going to be brought into the MCU as Hercules.
Ooh.
Which would actually be a really good cast.
Yeah, I could see that.
Or apparently there's been rumors of Captain Britain, which would also be really good for him, yeah.
But related to what I was saying before, the tweet, and I can't tell if it was a joke anymore, but it was... Andrew Garfield says that he'd love to be in the new SpiderVerse 3 movie.
It's going to be like the Paul Bettany thing. Where he tweeted that there's a surprise cameo, wanted to work with this actor forever. It's going to be that. And then they're actually all going to be in the movie, and everybody just needs to shut up.
So, all right. The other thing I wanted to talk about today, in tandem to this, is other franchises that have been completely shut down midway through. Because at the end of the day, the Snyderverse has been shut down midway through. Even if it gets restarted, it's not what it was originally planned. That whole movie slate is out the window. So, I for the record, I am actually a little offended that our chat every time in the comments is like, Benny did research?
To be fair, usually you call me. Hey, I need you to look something up for me. I need to know what it is for the show.
Don't tell them that.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it is research through a proxy.
I mean, that's a good point. Yeah.
So anyway, I got a list here because I pulled this up of franchises that have ended early that were supposed to be like
Super Mario Bros. 1994.
That's your favorite that you wanted to see continue?
I really wanted to see it keep going. Mortal Kombat. 1995 and then 98, I believe.
And then they just let it die.
And then they just let it die until 2021.
Live action Dragon Balls.
Oh yeah, that was supposed to be multiples.
Ooh, live action Double Dragon.
That was supposed to be sequels?
I don't know, but I wanted it to be. I want all of these terrible
He
90s.
wanted Triple Dragon
I
to
wanted
show.
all of these terrible 90s video game movies to have sequels.
Okay, so what
Terrible
do you
90s video game sequels. It's just where it clear.
guys
Yes.
Lara Croft with Angelina Jolie.
She had 2. And then that went away until 2018.
Which wasn't a terrible, but it was a forgettable movie.
Yeah.
It was pretty much just beat on this poor girl for 2 hours.
Well, that's what the reboot of the game is.
Oh, I know.
Just torture
So many
porn
death
with
sequences.
Lara Croft.
And I love them. Anyway,
I don't like the way that sounded.
so the list here, I got Aragorn. Remember that one? It was supposed to be like the
Aragorn.
I
next.
remember the first one.
Aragorn.
And they never made another.
Aragorn is a character in Lord of the Rings. Aragon is the movie.
It's true. Although an Aragorn movie would be
I would watch
sweet.
that.
Wasn't that supposed to be a spin-off at one point?
They were talking about it, I think, for the Amazon Prime show coming up. It was like going to be young Aragorn at first or something like that. It's not now. But.
Yeah. So where's my restore the Aragon movie franchise?
I think I saw that movie. I honestly don't know.
I remember seeing it, but I remember pretty much the only people I know that saw it were the people that read the books.
It had Alfred in it though, and I remember him being good. So I must have seen that movie.
Yeah.
It had. I like.
Chronicles of Narnia was supposed to be the Harry Potter equivalent.
They had 3.
Yeah.
Right, but apparently they intended 7.
Well, yeah, because there's like 13 of those
Jesus.
books. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it got canceled midway through and they just stopped making
They
them
just
'cause
weren't making money, I
Yeah.
think, was the issue. Yeah. The first
I've
one
seen
did
it-
well, and then I think it just kept going down.
The problem,
Plus
from what I
the
understand,
CG.
watching a lot, the biggest problem they had was the first movie, that cast doesn't actually continue in the books.
No, they don't.
Yeah. And that was, like, you didn't have your Harry Potter.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
had the cast.
Most of the Chronicles of Narnia books have a different character.
Right. Prince Caspian, I think, is the only one that actually stuck around for the long
For a
period.
few books, he does.
And then he just disappears too.
Yeah, well, because they all age.
Yeah. That's not a thing in fantasy, Andy. Look at Daniel
Chronicles of
Radcliffe.
Narnia-
He's still 13.
When you sign a contract, it says you
not age.
cannot age for the next 5 years. And you're like, oh, right.
Ah, well, I guess somebody needs to tell them Stranger Things kids. Yeah, the Chronicles of Narnia was always like a different group of kids going to Narnia. That was always the book. That was the premise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where remember when they tried to make new Indiana Jones movies? Not the actual attempt at it with Crystal Skull, but Sahara with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh yeah, there was based
Oh
off
my
a novel.
gosh.
Yeah.
And
remember that
National
one.
Treasure, which is to this day supposedly getting
Two
a
of
third
them.
one.
Yeah, 2 of them.
It's to this day is getting a
Cage
third
will make
one.
those movies till he dies.
There's apparently a TV show coming to Disney Plus that involves none of the original cast.
Oh. But he's gonna steal the Declaration of Independence again. That's what every movie. He just steals it again.
It's like, what are we stealing this time? The Declaration of Independence.
I still don't have it. Sahara, though, that was supposed to be like
Yeah,
a whole
yeah.
franchise. That never went anywhere.
With Matthew
decent
McConaughey.
movie.
It was a
Yeah.
fun adventure movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
What it was.
John Carter. I remember you talking about that earlier.
I really enjoyed that first movie.
That was
That
actually a solid
that
one.
only movie.
It was,
And I've read all the books.
and that was
so
supposed to be a
that was
continual
supposed to be a big
franchise as
thing,
well.
yeah. That was supposed to be Disney's Star Wars before they owned Star Wars.
I feel like the problem,
Is what
the
it was.
theming
That
that I'm
makes
sensing with a lot of these is they made all these with the franchise potential and then promoted a franchise.
Yes, and I've said that because Mortal Kombat just came out, and I said for what it was a good movie, a good enough movie. It wasn't like mind blowing. I said it was about 7.5.
Right.
The problem with it was, and they said they have plans for a trilogy, but only if the first one does well. But like they have so many threads in the first one.
Yeah.
Like just make a solid standalone movie and maybe sort of be like, well, we might do this or not, but
Yeah.
if you make your movie with the intention of I've got 2 more in mind, you're not going to make a great standalone movie.
No.
And it's just going to suffer.
I mean, case in point, the MonsterVerse. We were supposed to have the Mummy and Frankenstein and Invisible Man.
Dark Universe.
Dark Universe.
Yeah.
But they're calling it the MonsterVerse.
No.
No?
No, that's stupid.
Or that's the King Kong Godzilla one. I don't even know anymore.
Well, the problem with
That'd
that
be
one,
the
that was,
Kaiju-verse.
I think that's supposed to be the Monster Universe. I
okay.
think it's technically.
You know that's over now?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Technically speaking.
Because they lost the rights at the end of the last movie.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was arranged.
You already had Kong fighting Godzilla. Where else are you guys going to go with it?
We already fought Ghidorah and we already fought Kong.
Yeah,
so,
like at that point, like...
Space Mecha Godzilla was next.
But no, you had Mechagodzilla.
No, but space is a different Mecha
That
Godzilla.
is true, yeah. That's a good point. At this point, they should have
That's
just
the one
brought
with
in
the giant spikes.
the Pacific Rim guys. The
There you
Jaegers
go.
come in, start punching Godzilla.
How would you
Then the
explain?
Gundams
How would you
show
explain the Jaegers were around this whole time and just not?
No,
being
no, no.
used?
The next movie jumps forward in time.
Oh, okay. And the Jaegers are around.
Godzilla has gone insane.
As you do.
Kong has died off.
As monkeys do.
You guys pay attention. You can write this down. You're allowed to steal this idea. And so we have to develop Jaegers, which just look like Gundams in my universe, to fight off Godzilla.
I like it.
Boom.
I remember this one was making a lot. These two were making big waves as like they were going to be these big franchises. The girl with the dragon tattoo, which I never read, but
There was like 3 of those movies, so I guess they technically were a franchise.
yeah, but I think so. The problem with that is I think they made them not in America. Weren't they like in Poland?
There
And then
was Polish ones, and then there was American
Yeah, the
ones.
American one was going to be its own franchise.
Yeah, there was. I think there were still like 2 in America.
Was there?
I think. I don't know.
I'm just looking at franchises that ended early. Like,
yeah. Well, there's a bunch of those books.
yeah.
There's a
And then
lot of girls with something tattoos.
Yeah.
And then there's Percy Jackson. That was supposed to be a
Yeah, it
big
was like
franchise.
2. They're bringing that back on Disney now.
I heard this came out by Disney
they're
Plus.
I think
talked
they're
about
doing a
this,
show. I don't think it's a movie anymore.
And then of course there's the infamous Divergent that got all the way to the last movie,
and then they put that one on TV.
yeah, they're just like, it didn't do so well all the way up to this point.
Yeah.
I was watching a thing about why Divergent failed, and apparently the original book was written on a 3-week summer vacation from college.
Well, okay then.
I was gonna go with a 3-week cocaine binge, but whatever.
And then there's 2 series that got transformed. So more recently, Lemony Snicket got canceled after Jim Carrey. Yeah, then
Right, yeah,
Oh,
but
the
the
series
show,
But then they made it
Unfortunate
into the
events.
Netflix show, which is incredible.
with
Yeah.
Barney. He's really good.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Yeah, you have to watch it. Oh, he's
It's
so
really good, actually. It's,
Yeah.
Check
it's
it out.
really good. Yeah.
One from olden days, and maybe you remember this one.
Ye olden time.
This is definitely old. Stargate. Remember Stargate was supposed to be a franchise to compete with Star Wars and everything?
Oh yeah, the movie.
And
yeah,
it turned into a TV show that everyone expected to fail.
Yeah.
Which I think it's still going.
I don't think it's going anymore, but
It went for like 15 years,
was a
and they
while,
did like
yeah,
2
yeah.
spin-offs. So
Yeah,
it had a fan base.
it had like Atlantis and then space.
Apparently,
and,
nobody owns the rights to publish that anywhere. The people
no,
who
it's
do,
on Hulu, I think now.
Is it now?
Or Netflix. It
for
just
the longest
dropped on
time.
one
I
of
was like,
them.
for the
Yeah.
longest time, the guys who own the rights, I forget who it is, wouldn't put it anywhere.
It's MacGyver.
Well, because what it was is apparently
He owns the rights.
it was like Miramax or somebody, and they wanted to use it as their way to push their digital platform.
Right.
So they were just hoarding it for like.
Until we get that digital platform up and running. It's gonna be a minute.
So, yeah, that's a bunch of series. I think Stargate worked out very well.
Yeah.
The problem is with most of these on this list here, I don't care about any of them, and I don't think any of us here at the table did.
Well, the funny thing is, most of these ones that don't continue, eventually a streaming service just goes, "We'll make a show about it."
Yeah.
But there's that little fan base.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sad about the Dark Universe one because I always liked those old monster movies.
Yeah.
So the whole Dark Universe I think would have been cool. I definitely think they should have started it with Dracula Untold. I don't know why they didn't, because that set up Dracula in the modern age.
Which one's Dracula Untold? I don't think I've seen that.
So it's got, I can't remember the actor's name now. Basically, it's like a Dracula origin story.
Okay.
He's, Vlad Tepes. He's fighting the Turks, makes a deal with a vampire, becomes a vampire, fights off the army, and then kind of like gets stuck as a vampire. And then the
you do.
ending of the movie is him in the modern day. as Dracula.
Oh, so it's like the Captain America thing where the whole first Captain America
Sorta.
was all
Kinda.
World War One,
exactly.
and then he wakes up
Yeah.
and runs with no shoes.
And then it's like, oh, okay, so this, and at the time when the movie came out, they were talking about the Dark Universe. So they're like, oh, okay. So I was like, oh, okay. So they're starting the Dark Universe off with a more heroic Dracula, kind of like in the Marvel Universe where Dracula sometimes is kind of a good guy.
Until Deadpool steals his wife.
Well, I'm talking old school Dracula,
Yeah, yeah.
like, you know, Untold Dracula and stuff like that. So I was like, okay. And then they were like, yeah, Dracula Untold isn't part of the Dark Universe, though. We're starting it with The Mummy, with Tom Cruise. And I was, hey, you just did this one over here. What the hell? And then The Mummy tanked, and yeah, then they were just like, whoops.
But yeah, you're not wrong. A lot of these do end up continuing elsewhere. Or there's one that I think it was Penny. What's that? Penny something.
Penny Dreadful.
Penny Dreadful. That was it. Where it ended a season early, and then they continued it with an extra season, and then they still ended it an extra. Like they said, we're going to do 2 more, and then they ended it early anyway, and everyone freaked out about it on Twitter.
I don't know.
I think it was Penny Dreadful.
They're doing a new one, though.
Are they?
Yeah, Penny Dreadful. It's like set in the 1920s. And
Oh, I think that is it, because like they ended the original too early.
Yeah.
And like, but we're doing this other one instead, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, no, you gotta finish. you gotta finish my show.
That's Ben's internet voice.
No! What the hell, man? I wanted it the last season of Penny Dreadful.
Your internet voice is weird.
Yeah, man.
Release the Snyder Cut.
Release the Snyder Cut. Release the Dark Universe. Restore the Dark Universe.
Restore the Dark Universe.
Justice with the Mummy.
Okay, no, not that movie was pretty bad.
So yeah, it's interesting to see that. I don't think Snyderverse is going to be restored. It's fun to discuss the possibilities that all of this is the drum up hype for it.
Right.
That would be awesome.
But I do believe
call
WB.
it now. Call it now. Say
Yes. It's, you know what? The gag order is because they're going to wait and then they're going to go, here's the Snyderverse trailer out of nowhere, but it's conveniently on top of some big Marvel announcement.
we're calling it now. May, what are we on? May 7th?
6th.
6th, May 6th, 2021. It's all a marketing ploy.
Yep.
I think it's not, but
we like to do this.
Oh, do you?
And sometimes we're right about 50% of the time, actually.
You're calling it that it's a marketing ploy, and
Yeah.
they'll announce that it is a marketing ploy within the next 5 years.
Hey, technically it still counts. We still called it.
So we're gonna start playing. We're gonna start playing that what other podcasters do. Okay, so if we just make every speculation, we get something right.
Yeah, we're right about 50% of the time, so.
It's like a Nostradamus kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just write a book.
If you're
just write
vague enough.
everything. Exactly.
Anything can be enough.
Andy and Dan said that a superhero movie from DC that we don't know about will come out in the next 2 years.
Exactly. And it will be announced on
Calling it
top
out.
of Marvel.
Yeah, good luck. At this point, I don't even know why people pay attention. Marvel announced stuff. So did DC. Who cares?
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Marvel
no,
at this point.
it's Marvel announced stuff. Which one are you talking about? 'Cause they said like 5 things the other day.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, guys, thank you for watching today's podcast. Stick around for the live shows. We're going to move into our Capes and Pals show. It's filmed live every Thursday following the Comics Experiment. The episodes are then uploaded to our Comicstorian gaming channel. For those of you who are like, hey, what happened to Capes and Pals? I still get comments, even though I literally post it everywhere.
Is that your comments voice?
Yeah.
You have a different voice for
Hey, what happened to Capes and Pals, man?
Why is our comments
I'm really enjoying that one.
12? Hey, man, really enjoying
Welcome to the internet. Hey, Mom, I want some cheesy bells.
So we've gotten commenter voice. We've gotten internet voice.
Should I have them argue? I'll have them argue back.
And we've got Twitch streamer voice today.
Twitch screamer voice.
Yeah.
I don't know why you guys can't give us $5.
What's the arm thing?
I'm in a hot tub.
going-
I'm bouncing in a hot tub.
I just picture Benny going, this is my high-pitched guy voice, but this is my girl hands.
What's today's sponsor,
I really hope
Dan?
he's offended somebody with these.
Oh, I really hope I offended somebody.
These voices.
Remember what we said in the episode where we were politically correct? We actively try not to be ever.
I don't actively try. It just happens.
Yeah.
We're just terrible human beings.
There you
There
go.
it
We should rename it Comics Experiment. How long will people watch terrible human beings?
Terrible human beings talk about comics.
Yeah. You know what? We'll shorten it. Terrible people talk.
What's today's podcast sponsor, Dan?
Today's podcast was Comics Experiment, where we talked about series that got canceled too early.
Thank you for that.
And it was sponsored by G Fuel, where you can use code COMICS at checkout to save 10%. Our Patreons over at patreon.com/Comicstorian. Our YouTube membership people over at youtube.com/Comicstorian. And our Twitch subscribers over at twitch.tv/ you guessed it, Comicstorian.
I see what you did.
Thank you guys for joining us today. Stick around if you're watching live. Otherwise, we'll see you next week right here at your favorite podcast outlet.
See ya.
Bye.